Can you go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody?
Yeah, my name is Javier Medina. I'm with the Tidy Home Cleaning Services,
And where are you based out of?
based out of Houston, Texas.
And the company is based out of Houston. Do you live in Houston as well?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Awesome. And then where were you born? Where did you grow up? Give us a little on your background.
Born and raised in Houston, Texas. I was raised in the South Side. Yeah, I was. You asked for background as well.
Yeah, just some things that you like to do as a kid when you were growing up.
Yeah. Okay. Man, as a kid, I spent most of my times outside, just climbing trees. Every now and then I would play on the Nintendo 64. Yeah, I had a pretty good childhood, just playing around pretty much.
Video games when you were inside, and then mostly
Outside, just
outside
just making
hanging out.
stuff up. Yeah.
That's the best way. I feel like
Yeah.
the generation now is just all inside or even outside, but all technology. So you got their tablets, their video games, everything.
Oh,
But
yeah. They're
it's
outside, but they're not really outside.
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think they're making friendships, whether they're playing Fortnite, Call of Duty, whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like our generation kind of did that towards middle school and high school, and our childhood was all running around, scooters,
Yeah.
kickball, whatever, and then we got into that phase. But now it's all tech, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. No.
And then when you were younger, did you know what you wanted to be when you grew up?
Uh, actually, man, I went through it all. Funnily enough, I never cared to be an astronaut or anything like that, um, but yeah, when I was younger, I wanted to be a doctor, so um, I did go to, uh, I did go to college with the intentions of becoming a doctor. I got far enough to just pre med bio. I did lose interest in becoming a doctor. I started liking more of the holistic approach. So what I did was I became a massage therapist and kind of I kind of helped people in many ways with just physical elements. Um, I helped a lot of people with their fix their backs, their posture, like their necks. Like I fixed a lot of stuff, and that was my first business was massage therapy. I started, uh, I started getting some notoriety there. I was one of the youngest five-star massage therapists in Houston. But then COVID came around and it ruined all of that. I was like, my business was just starting to pick up, and uh, um, COVID came around. It's like, oh no, you're too close to me. I can't do it. Like, how's you want me to do it? Me to get some sticks and kind of go from far away?
Right.
But no, that didn't work out. So um, I so then what happened? I joined my mom's business. She's been an accountant her whole life. Um, so I've known what an invoice was since I was a kid. So business has always been in me. So when COVID happened and I lost my massage business, I asked my mom if I could work with her doing accounting work um, and business development because that's what she started her business right before COVID started. So she did need some help and she would ask me every now and then. So when I lost my business, I finally approached my mom and was like, "Hey, let me help you out. I'm about to get married. I need money. Let me
That,
help you
that
out."
always that always puts pressure on people.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
getting married in 2 months, and yeah,
yeah,
it's hectic for sure.
yeah. No, but I mean, but thank God that opportunity was there, and I came to love developing businesses and just doing the back end work. Like I know a lot of people hate doing the back end work, like they just want to focus on operations.
Mhm.
But I mean, I love both. Um, so my wife and her mom they were house cleaners, and so I was like, what are we doing here? Let's mix it together. I'm gonna do the back end stuff. You guys, you guys know what you're doing on the cleaning side. Let's do something. So,
And then going a little bit back, when you were in school for undergrad
mm,
to become a doctor, what kind of changed that you just lost interest?
uh, just it's uh, the mentality, I guess, the mentality and um, the belief systems of that industry, the pharmaceutical industry and all that. So I couldn't put myself to do it. So
Understandable. And then with your first business, being a massage therapist, were you a freelancer or did you start your own website and promote ads too? Or
yeah, I started off as a freelancer, but I realized that uh, I don't know. I like the way I operate. I was working with at first I worked with like the chains, Massage Envy and those guys. But I like the way I operate, and so I did start my own business. I had my own website. It was and the company was Mercy Massage. I had my own website, my logo, and everything. So yeah, it was a legit business. Yeah.
and how long did you have it before, or how when did you start it? I guess, and then when did it kind of
Mm.
end?
Uh, it was. I think I started 2016 and it ended 2020 or
Okay.
2017, 2020. It was for a few years. You know,
And if COVID never happened, do you think you would have stuck with it for forever
definitely. Yeah.
potentially?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would probably still have it now. I mean,
Would
I
you,
think.
were you the only massage therapist, or did you hire others as well?
Yeah, I ended up hiring my first couple. Yeah, right before it ended. Yeah.
Oh man, that's tough.
I know.
My next question was going to be: is anyone in your family a business owner? And you said your mom was.
Mm.
How was that her only business or first business, or did she have businesses before?
Yeah, no, that's her only business. She's been an accountant. Well, actually, huh. So my family owned a cheese distribution business when I was a little kid. So that's when I would spend time with my mom and look at the invoices and everything, help her sort them out. Um, and then that business ended, and so she went into doing accounting work for oil and gas companies. Since we're in Houston, that's all that's the
Yeah.
majority of what we do. Um, so I think she had maybe 15 years or so of being an accountant in oil and gas industry. Um, so she started her business right before COVID started, like late 2019 when it got bad. Um, so now she does with her business. She does accounting, financials, business development. Helping people start businesses and maintain them, and kind of help them with setting it up and all that.
So
So
she's not with one company
no,
specific. She outsources. People could hire her, and
yeah, she
oh,
has multiple clients. Yeah,
excellent. And then where did you go to college? In Texas as well, or did you go
yeah.
out of state?
Houston, I stayed in Houston all my life.
Do you ever plan on moving?
But man, I've been to New York City, Chicago, LA, Miami. I like them, but the cost of living, man, the cost of living is just so good over here. You can't beat it for a big city.
It is. It is.
Yeah,
I've been seeing. I mean, on social everywhere, realtors popping up showing how what home prices are
yeah,
in Texas, and you compare a house for 350, 400K in
big difference.
Texas versus here. And well, I'm in Chicago, so
Yeah,
something for 400K here is like you don't get much
yeah,
unless you're in the suburbs. But yeah, it seems like you could get so much more for your money down there. But then the extreme heat, weather comes into play.
Oh
So
my
there's
gosh.
a lot of give and take there if you want to move for
Yeah.
sure.
No, yeah. I mean, right. Actually, the last, I think the last 2 weeks or so, it's been triple digits. Pretty hot.
I was in Scottsdale a couple weeks ago when it had that massive stretch. It was like 118 every day when we were there, and from about 11 a.m. till 3:30, we were either inside
Yeah.
or in the shade for like 20 minutes in the back inside.
Yeah.
It's I prefer that 118 and dry versus going to like somewhere like Florida where it's 90 and 100% humidity. It's to me it's better. I don't know. Some people were saying that I'm crazy, but I'll take it that over the other.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Houston's pretty humid too. But it's not always like this. It's just like, I mean, the weather is just crazy right now. But usually, yeah, it's usually doesn't. It's not this hot for this long. Um,
Right.
so I mean, all year round, Houston is probably, you know, 85 degrees. Well, I'm sorry, let me take that back. Houston has basically just two seasons. It's the summer and then it's spring, I guess. So I want to say October through January. No, not January. October through March, weather's great. It'll be, winter is like maybe high 30s, and then um, throughout spring is maybe
Did you say high 30s?
yeah, for winter, yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah. It doesn't get too cold. I mean, we had that freeze, a couple years ago, but that's not something that's not the norm. So yeah, winter is usually high 30s, and then spring, 80 degrees. So it's good weather from those few months, and the rest of the months stay your butt inside,
Oh yeah.
get some AC.
I,
But we clean houses and stuff, so there's always AC, right?
absolutely. If you're working inside, it's a lot better than, doing outside stuff like window cleaning, roofing,
I
landscaping,
feel so bad for
cleaning.
those guys.
Yeah, it's intense, but I mean, somebody has to do it, so
For sure.
it's got to get done. A little bit closer now towards the business side of things. When did you start your business, and what is the name of your cleaning business?
uh, we started it January 1st, 2023, so 8
This
months,
this
9
year.
days ago.
Okay,
Yeah. Um, and we're tidy home cleaning services. Mm.
awesome. So, what kind of, I guess, inspired you to start the business?
My wife and my mother-in-law, I wanted to help them not be stay as employees, because the people that they worked with, they would always say how great they are, and they never got bad reviews or anything like that. So um, what I wanted to do is, since they're held to a high regard, I thought maybe we can multiply their work effort, the quality of their work, and just create a business like that. Yep.
Definitely great thinking. When did you kind of know, or when did you have like the sit down with them and being like, hey, let's take, this, I guess, whether it's part time or full time, smaller scale, and kind of blow it up. When did you do that, and how receptive were they to going on board with this?
It's like a quite a while to convince them. Um, I want to say I had been telling them for like 2 years prior to us actually making it official. Prior to opening the corporation, um, I had been saying for 2 years, "Hey, you guys are good. You should start it up. You should start it up." And they would always be like, "Yeah, maybe." Right. And then I guess the catalyst to really get things moving was my mother-in-law got pregnant, and she was like, "Okay, I need to do something." I was like, "Yes, finally." Because my plan is to, you could be the operating manager, you could do whatever. It's like have your baby, stay at home, or at least be quality control, go check, and but just to give you the opportunity to stay with your child. um and that really finally, like, you know
Persuaded her
yeah,
to do
she's like,
it.
okay, let's do it. So yeah, that's I think that's what happened.
And how much did you invest when you first started?
Man, quite a lot. Well, actually, financial, I mean, like, money wise,
Yeah.
not too much, maybe $2,000 or something. But um yeah, it wasn't actually, oh yeah, probably around $2,000. Yeah, that was to buy vacuums. The majority of the investment was vacuums. Vacuums are quite expensive, if you get pro teams and all that. Um, but yeah, so I want to say around $2,000, and then the rest was just investment of time from my family as well. My family helped me to create the website, and kind of just get all the things in order. Otherwise, I mean, I don't know how much I would have spent on that. Maybe the website that we have is pretty good. That could have probably been like a $2,000-3,000 website. Um, I mean, yeah, there are quite a few things that my brother and I do have done for the business that we're able to do for free. And just invest our time, as opposed to invest money for somebody else to do the work. I mean, so yeah, thank God we had the skill to do that and do it ourselves.
Definitely helps a lot when you
Yeah.
can, either if you know it or even if you don't, but have the drive to learn it and
Oh
save
yeah.
money and do it
Yeah.
yourself. That's huge, because if you need to make changes ever, you're not relying on waiting for somebody else for you to contact them, get back, and all that wasted time in between of them figuring out what you need, doing it, and then come back and it's done. Versus if you need to do it, you just get it done and it's over with.
Yep. 100%.
So are you doing the employee model or the independent contractor model?
Both. What I do, so my cleaning company does everything. We do residential, commercial, short-term rentals, post construction. Um, when it comes to residential, pure strictly employee. Only employees touch houses. Um, Everything else, contractor work.
And how many cleaners do you have total with independent contractors and employees?
Uh, just about 7.
7?
Mm.
Okay. And then since you started in January, how much revenue have you done since in total?
In total, I have to look at the booking qual for that. But I think from January till now is probably about 70, somewhere between 70 75.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then cleaning services are kind of, I mean, they've been around for a while. Feel like now with Twitter being big and a lot of people, mentors being on there,
Mm.
seems like so many cleaning services are opening up quickly. So, what unique value does your business bring to the market?
Um, I think the fact that we kind of leverage technology and really good customer service. We respond very quickly. Um, yeah, we respond really quickly, and if any issue happens, we'll get it taken care of pretty quickly. So I think our response time and our leveraging of technology uh, has helped us has helped to set us apart from other cleaning companies.
Do you have a VA, or is it just your mother in law in the office and you? Or is it just you in the office? Do you have
It's
any
it's
office
just
staff?
me in the office. Yeah, my mother-in-law is actually, she's more focused on quality control right now. Me, I'm I'm doing everything else. Minus actually, well, I have to go and clean sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, just sometimes. Whenever somebody calls out or something, I'll go to do it. I got pretty good at cleaning. I was I was so bad in the beginning. My wife would In the beginning, my wife, she would just like tell me, "Hey, get out of here! You're slowing me down." I was like, "All right, fine." But no, I've gotten better at cleaning. So if I ever do need to go, I'll go. It's seldom now. So yeah, for the most part, I stay at home, taking care of all this stuff. I actually am currently working on hiring a VA. Yeah.
It kind of gives you a unique perspective because you have to do cleans when people
Mm,
call out. So I feel like an owner who has done everybody's cleaned before. I'm not
yeah.
talking about your own place, but actually going out to somebody's house
Yeah.
and cleaning it to their standard and the business standard. As the owner, it
Mm,
gives you that unique perspective of like, okay, this is how my providers and employees work. This is the environment. This is just what they have to deal with. And now that you
mm,
know that, you can run the business better. You can help your employees and your providers out more in situations where you're sympathetic because you know you've been there
mm,
versus a business owner who hasn't really cleaned. Not saying that they don't feel the same empathy for that, but it's just a slightly different perspective because you've lived it. You've gone
yeah.
and cleaned for other people's homes, and admittedly you said that you weren't great in the beginning. So I'm sure if you didn't tell the customer that you were the owner and you're coming in and cleaning, they're kind of like hitting your email being like, "Oh, that guy didn't do good," and you're reading it and you're like, "Man, as the owner, it's like it
Yeah.
hurts," but then you realize everybody has room for growth. Everybody could get better.
Mhm. Yeah. No, actually, funny thing about that, I've never stepped foot inside of the residential cleanings, specifically to avoid that because I feel like residential clients, they're the most uh, picky. So I always stay away. I really just if I need to step in for um, Airbnb cleanings or post construction or janitorial, I'll do that. I'll do that for sure.
So
But
you have no
residential, I
reason
stay out.
to. Okay. Which again, kind of protects you in a sense where you don't have that
Mhm.
crossover where, you were the cleaner, you did the work, and then you could have, like you said, a picky customer being like, he didn't do it, but now
Yeah.
you're fighting with the customer because it was you.
Yeah,
So it's smart that you kind of kept away from the residential and
yeah.
stuck with all the others. But I guess what are some of the biggest challenges you faced as a big business owner and how'd you overcome them?
Biggest, um, man, I think the biggest challenge is at least for me personally, is getting clients and getting, employees. Well, yeah. So overcoming, employee-wise, um, people are always looking to work. So and especially since, we have good rapport with our cleaners. So actually going a little back on what we were talking about just now. Um, I've talked to other business owners, not in the cleaning industry, but just under other industries, and something that I think that helps. Something that just helps is when an employee sees their boss working with them. I feel like, and amongst the discussions that I've, with other business owners, um, it it seems as though the work dynamic is different. Like, you know, um, we have more of an understanding of what needs to be done and how quickly it needs to be done. So there's no unrealistic expectations like, hey, I expect you to clean this 5 bedroom house in 1 hour. Like, get it done. You know, that's not gonna happen, right? Unless the client just wants this and that done, right?
Or you had a team of 10.
Yeah. So and then and then the expectations are not unrealistic, and since like they see their boss working with them, I feel like they're a little more respectful, and um I don't know, when I see my employees, you know, when they see me walking, I feel like my workers are a little more like the morale goes up a little more. I feel like it, and after I've talked with other business owners, they have said the same thing. Um, so with that, just being in business a little longer than, as opposed to a month ago, um, those cleaners are more than happy to tell their friends to come in and work for us because the we pay we pay more than the average in Houston. I think the average is about 13, 14 an hour. No, I've seen, so on ZipRecruiter I've seen like $11 an hour. So 11 and 14 an hour, that's like the average. We pay starting at 15, and we have some that we pay for at 17 an hour. Um, so with that being said, I think that's how we're able to overcome not having as many employees, because our employees are happy to tell their friends. And so the problem is that people want to work, but we don't have work to give them. So now the problem that we haven't overcome quite yet is just finding clients. Um, the clients that we do have, they're very happy, and I'm constantly asking for referrals, but I don't know what it is. They just want to be greedy with us. I don't know. But yeah,
Well,
that's what we haven't overcome quite yet.
going to the part where you said working with your employees, I feel like it's a little 50-50. The first time you go and work with, whether it's one other person or a group of or a team of three, initially mindset for them is maybe a little bit like walking on eggshells.
Mm,
They're a little nervous, because the boss is there. They don't want to mess up. But like you did say, morale goes higher because, all right, the boss is working. So now I have to kick it into overdrive and
mm,
show him that I'm great. I can be great. I can do great things. And it's just a snowball effect. It starts there. And then all the other employees, maybe some who don't think that way, will pick up on it because others are thinking and doing to be better.
mm,
So I feel like in the beginning, maybe that first one or two cleans with the boss, it's a little standoffish, maybe a little like head down and busy through everything,
mm,
versus a little further on, if you continue to work with them, they're still head down and driven, but it's more relaxed. It's not,
yeah.
walking on pins and needles and worried about like, oh my God, I missed this or I missed that. It's that team effort shown by you being there
Mm.
and working with them. So what strategies are you using right now to get customers and to keep them?
um, so at first I was using lead services like Thumbtack, Angie. Uh, I think that's it. Yeah. Oh, I tried Yelp. I That was definitely my least favorite, just because most of the calls that we got were just spam. Hey, I see that your Yelp ads are. How can we? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
um, so I completely canceled that. Um, Thumbtack, I canceled it just because um, I feel like the. So actually, I started using Thumbtack for my massage business. In 2017. They've changed from then till now. Um, just the amount that they charge. I feel like the customer service isn't nearly as good as it used to be. Um, they're definitely less um, understanding than they were before. Like I was able to get, like, back in 2017. I was able to get a lot more refunds back from my, or credited back. Um, but now it's like, oh no, sorry, we don't credit you for this, for that, for this, for that. So like, yeah, I'm not using that anymore. Angie, yeah, Angie. I feel like they're just, um, I don't know. I feel like the quality of the leads are not as good. So I've stopped using lead services. All in all. So right now it's just cold emailing. I just started cold emailing yesterday, so we'll see how that goes.
Have you
Uh,
tried any paid ads, either Facebook or Google Ads or Google LSA, anything like that?
I haven't tried it yet. The guy that I saw that is doing what 750K or whatever. I saw that he's doing Google LSA, and I was like, okay, let me let me try that.
Yeah,
um,
everybody right now
mm,
is hopping on it. Doesn't really matter where, either US, Canada. They're leveraging it and it's working well, especially depending on your area. It could be, could be less, could be more, depending on
mm,
competition. But if you're struggling with that, I would definitely say get into Google, make those profiles, and start getting those reviews and go from there, because that'll be a big help.
yeah. Yes, I'm going to start uh, Google and what was the other one that you mentioned? Google and
Facebook.
Facebook. Yeah. I hear that Facebook is can be very good, just just because it's more targeted. So I'm definitely gonna start using Facebook and Google Ads pretty soon. Um, yeah, so hopefully that goes well.
If I were you, I would start with Google, get that set
Mhm.
up, make sure that's all good, with LSA and your profile and everything. With Facebook, I wouldn't necessarily run ads right away. What I would do is try and find local community groups,
Yeah.
like whatever small suburb probably has a community group, and post in there because it's free.
Mhm.
So post your, make something on Canva look nice with a discount code and put it in there, and who knows? It's free, doesn't necessarily always work quickly
Yeah,
or in big numbers,
but it's free.
but it's free. So the return is, as long as you get one, it's a huge up for sure.
Yeah.
How are you staying updated on industry trends, developments, everything like that?
Um, well, just I'm constantly at my computer all day. So I listen to YouTube all day. I listen to YouTube all day. Like, I mean, your interviews, I mean, I can listen to the full thing, like, and without stopping. Like, yeah, I'm on YouTube all day. So I do learn uh all the time when it comes. I listen to a lot of cleaning stuff and a lot of business stuff. So I'm constantly keeping up with those trends.
And
Yeah.
social, and whether it's Twitter or whatever, I'm
Yeah.
sure
No,
whatever.
I don't
Um,
use Twitter much, but I am on Instagram. I do follow cleaning, just cleaning things, people, pages, whatever. I do follow that. And so what I do there, like if I see something that I like, I'm like, hey, maybe we can implement this in our business. I share that with my wife and my mother-in-law to see what they have to say. Um, so yeah, I do keep up with that way.
I would definitely suggest, if you don't have a Twitter account, get one. But if you do, there's a bunch of great people on there who are sharing their stories, and step by step how to do everything.
Mm,
So you'll get, and there are a lot of booking quality users, so it'll tie in real well, and it'll be a big help for sure. With the videos on YouTube, what are you mainly watching? Is it inspirational stuff? Is
yeah,
it business specific,
yeah.
industry specific?
Yeah, motivational wise, I'm already pretty motivated, so I don't no,
Okay.
yeah, stick to, I mean, just business in general. So I listen to all kinds of things. I like, what's that called? Um, up, I
Upflip,
forgot. What's it?
Upflip
Yes, Upflip. I listen to them a
Cristobal
lot. Huh?
with Cristobal.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I found out about Booking Koala. 'Cause well, no, so actually, so with that, I saw this other guy first for cleaning. I forgot his name, but I think the business name was, I forgot the name, but they're in Seattle, as well as Cristobal. But I saw that he was using L27. I saw that, and then I saw that Cristobal was using Booking Koala. So I compared the two, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go with Booking Koala," and I don't regret it. Booking Koala has been amazing. Um, but yeah, that YouTube
Upflip.
channel, um, Booking Koala interviews, um, just all the uh, cleaning gurus or whatever they refer to themselves as, and then just whatever miscellaneous businesses out there. Yeah.
So you've watched every single interview of the growth stories, start to finish?
No, not all of them. Not all of them, but definitely most of them.
Good information, you think, would you
Mhm,
say? Yeah?
yes. Yeah, I've been able to pick up a lot of good information and implement some of them in my business. And I would say my business is just a mix of all this other stuff that I've heard and have liked. Yeah.
I feel like the home services industry, whether it's home cleaning, all the things that fall into that, I feel like this community is one of, if not the most helpful to other business owners. There's rarely do I see any gatekeeping, any
Mhm.
secrets, anything like that. Whenever somebody asks a question in the Facebook group or on Twitter, in masses, people are coming to answer questions, whether
Yeah.
it's, a setting within the software or if it's business specific.
Mhm.
So I feel like doesn't matter where you start or how much knowledge you have, if you just follow a couple groups, watch some videos, you will get all the information you need and quickly, but you have to implement it. You
Yeah.
have to have the drive and the passion to get it done and start right away.
Mhm.
I know some people take a little bit longer, but the one thing I guess everybody regrets is always not starting sooner. So
Oh.
many people have been like, if I would have started when I initially thought and didn't hesitate the 3, 6, 9 months, a year, I could have been 10x where I am now.
Mhm.
So, anybody watching right now, if you're thinking about it, just get started right away.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're absolutely right. Especially you got to think about, um, you know, maybe even 3 months ago, the potential client that you're trying to get, they literally just got that client the other cleaning service 3 months ago. So it's always best to start now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And build up that rapport with everybody who you can be, cold emailing, cold calling. Like Hussein in the last interview, he was cold calling realtors for a year and
Mhm.
still does it. And he's getting clients a year later, which again, free, didn't cost him anything, just kept nurturing those realtors. And those leads came in finally.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
whether it's free, especially if it's free, you got to stay consistent. If
Mhm.
you're paying, there's going to be always adjustments to make for sure.
Yeah.
How do you approach financial management and planning within the business?
Uh, I mean, management. I just um, I just make sure that we don't spend more than we earn.
Do you
I
have,
mean,
are you using softwares for budgeting?
yeah, we use QuickBooks. I mean, yeah, we have cash flows and everything. Yeah, we have cash flow file. Make sure that everything's looking good. If I say anything on the cash flow file, um, that and we're not making what we're projected to make or whatever. I'll just try to look through the cash flow to see where I can cut costs for that month or whatever. Um, so I mean, yeah, that's having a cash flow file significantly helps.
Definitely tracking that metric KPI. That's the biggest. You need to
Mhm.
know all your expenses, your break even point, and
Yeah.
then cash flow obviously is the number one. If you don't have it, you're going nowhere, right? Can
Yeah.
you share an experience where you had to make a uh tough decision that had a significant impact on the business?
Huh. I think for me, I think since we have a lower amount of workers, since we're new, we kind of need to have all the workers available. I think the toughest one that impacts business, at least for me right now at this moment, is just having to fire somebody. Um, and that's because, like, I mean, I don't want to fire anybody, but if I'm paying you more than the standard in my city, I expect you to, I'm going to hold you to a higher standard, because my company's held to a higher standard because I'm able to pay more to my employees because I charge more. So if you're not doing that work that the customer is charging, I mean, is paying for, you know, you can't.
Quality assurance with
Yeah,
customers is huge.
yeah,
Like you said, if you're charging at least 25% more or even
mm,
10% more than your competitors, but your quality is 40, 30, 40, 50% lower, you're going to be
it's no
out of
point.
business
Yeah,
within weeks, if not days,
yeah,
especially if you start getting hit with negative review after negative review after negative review. Super hard to bounce back from that.
mm,
So you're saying your tough decisions are whether to keep these employees or providers or fire them because you have so few
mm,
and you don't know if you're going to if that mistake is worth letting them go and
yeah,
replacing them.
yeah, yep.
Okay.
That's the biggest one for me right now.
So especially since you have employees, because with independent contractors it's a little different. It's like mini business within the business, right?
Yeah.
You can't really tell them how to do it. You just got to tell them what to do and then they do it. So, how do you foster a positive culture within your business? Within every,
I'm sorry.
within everybody,
Oh,
provider,
uh,
all your providers, employees, and independent contractors.
um, well, so you said to foster a positive environment.
Healthy culture, yeah.
Yeah. Man, I try to be as kind as possible. I've had some employees that tell me, that they're really grateful for me because um I don't yell at them. I'm like, I did what? What? That shouldn't even be a thing. Like, a boss should not be yelling at an employee. That sounds crazy to me. Um, yeah, so I mean, just being kind, paying on time, um, just being understanding. I celebrate birthdays. Whenever, like, so we do short-term rentals, Airbnbs as well. I took some people to celebrate because they tagged us. That client tagged us, on Instagram, saying that we helped them to achieve superhost status, and being Airbnb, like that's the top, like that's where you want to be. So I took them out to celebrate the fact that we've been doing such a great job that everybody has noticed, the clients and the guests have noticed. So I took them out. I just try to find reasons to go out and celebrate.
And that's
Yeah.
as little as that sounds, it is absolutely massive
Mm,
because, I mean, we all remember when we were kids in elementary school, and that's what the teacher did. Whenever somebody had a birthday, it had a
Mm,
little celebration, and sometimes kids brought in cupcakes, donuts,
yeah.
whatever for everybody. It made everybody feel
Mm,
good to
yeah.
celebrate, and it also made the person feel special. So I'm a huge kid at heart. I am a massive kid at heart. Like I'll watch Disney movies all the time. Like I don't care whatsoever. So I just feel like as adults, we've, especially in the climate now, post COVID, post, you know, everything that's happened the last 5 years,
Yeah.
everybody's lost their touch to their inner kid. So I feel like what you're doing with celebrating birthdays is so small, but yet such a huge gesture,
Mm,
because sure, you could get them coffee one time, or anything along those lines, but remembering somebody's birthday, that's something that they'll remember for the rest of their lives.
mm,
Like there are birthdays. There's one specific birthday I remember because I was thrown a surprise party, and that was the only one I've ever had. So
mm,
it sticks out. So it's
yeah.
the little things like that that I feel are so strong with businesses and business owners and among their employees, because it builds the camaraderie. It builds that positive company culture. It shows that you care. It's
Mm,
not that you're there just for your profit, and you know everybody else, once they do their work and get paid, it's kind of separate ways. No,
mm,
treat everybody humanly and with love and care and respect, and you will get so much further than the
yeah.
next business who's just caring about the bottom dollar.
Yeah. I agree.
What about steps you take to ensure your customer satisfaction and address any issues with complaints?
Uh, well, definitely, quality control. Have um, if somebody can't make it to a property that we're at, um, I'll go and inspect everything, make sure everything's good. Um, I also have um, I have an automated message that goes out after a clean. But for like the weeklies and the bi-weeklies, well, okay, more so like once a month, I'll send out a message saying, "Hey, has everything been okay? Do we need to make any adjustments, anything like that?" Um, as for addressing any complaints that we already have, I mean, so those things that I mentioned before, I do that to avoid any mistakes. But if there was a mistake made, we have 100% satisfaction guarantee. And that's included in the price.
So is that a you go back out and re-clean, or is it a
Yeah,
refund?
no reclean, just reclean. Um, I haven't had anybody ask for a refund. What I'll do is like I don't know. I had this one residential client that she claimed that we threw something away that wasn't supposed to be thrown away. So I was like, okay, just tell me how much it costs, and I'll give you a credit for your next clean. Um, so stuff like that, I'll give a credit if something was tossed away. Um, if anything, if we missed a spot, we'll go back and clean it, no charge, obviously. Um,
What about damages? Have you had any damages yet?
no damages yet, but we do have insurance. So if anything, if I mean, I'll pay out of the business account if need be. If it's small. If it's big, like damaging floors or something, yeah, I'll use the insurance.
Yeah.
But we try to avoid that. But I use to clean floors. I use uh like all surface cleaners. So something that's not going to be damaging. Neutral pH. So I do whatever I can to avoid damaging floors because I know that's going to be huge headache if that ever happens. Um, and
I
yeah,
feel
that's
like floors, whether hardwood or cracked tile, massive,
mhm,
massive headache. because the customer's obviously upset.
Yeah.
Going to take a while for somebody to come in, go through the insurance, all that. But as long as you're proactive and keeping and taking steps to prevent it,
Yeah.
huge, huge.
So that's the biggest thing. I try to be so careful because I do not want to deal with any of that. That's
Especially in a house that's post construction. They've
mm,
just finished and you're cleaning
mhm.
up. Um, I've heard a story where a cleaner was at a post construction job and didn't kind of pay attention, kind of looked away when they were vacuuming, and there was a nail. Nail didn't get sucked up all the way; it kind of got stuck in the head of
Oh
the
man.
vacuum, and she just started dragging it around all the fresh hardwood.
Ouch.
For that room, I think they roughly said it was like 15K to redo
Oh
because it was a
man.
big, big house. I think it was a big dining room that it happened in. So yeah, definitely insurance is huge, and definitely being aware of what's going on in your environment, and
Mm,
having the right tools, especially for all the providers.
yeah.
Because
No.
if you
Yeah.
don't have it, you're working twice as hard for the same outcome.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Absolutely. To avoid that, with post construction, what I do is I'll have somebody kind of look for the bigger things, nails, water caps, like whatever I don't want going in the vacuum. I'll have some before we start vacuuming. We'll look around, make sure to get the big stuff, throw it away, and then we'll vacuum. Um, and we whenever we're vacuuming floors, hardwood floors, we only use brush. We don't because a lot of the vacuums, the attachments that they come with, that I've noticed at least, it's just like plastic or and like a little tiny brush.
Mhm.
So I make sure to always have, you know, an attachment with a lot of brush. Make sure that it's not the plastic is not touching the hardwood floor, the tile, whatever. Avoid scratches. So that's what we do to avoid any of those damages.
Definitely sweeping
Mhm.
before getting, like you said, get all the big stuff. Because what was crazy to me was it was a shop vac
Yeah.
that it
Oh.
happened with,
Mhm.
and at least from what I've seen with those shop vac, they're just there's no grooves, it's just flat and it gets sucked in,
Yeah.
and just really crappy luck with that
Yeah.
situation. That's all I
Yeah.
could say.
Yeah.
How do you prioritize and manage your time as a business owner? You said that you're on the computer all day long. So, how are you prioritizing business hours and personal hours and just everything in between?
um, I don't.
You don't.
At the moment,
I like that. It's honest. You're not beating around the bush because I mean, everybody has their moments,
yeah,
priorities kind of slip away, but what's your reasoning behind it?
yeah. So right now, I don't have I don't have children, so I don't have to worry about that right now. Um, what I tell my wife is, hey, before like I want to get established fully. Um, I want to get established so that that way when we do have a child, my wife can be a stay-at-home mom because that's what she wants, and that's what I would want as well. Um, so we're both working really hard right now to make sure that we can get our business established. She doesn't have to worry about going onto the field or anything like that, um, and just that. So we're both focused on building this business, and so what we'll do is we'll take our dinner, we'll eat our dinner together. She's mostly out in the field, so during that time we're just both working, and when she comes home, um we'll both spend time on our computers, just um, trying to reach out and just trying to grow the business, and we'll eat dinner together, go back to work for a little bit, and then at the end of the day, we'll spend some quality time together. And on the weekends, if we don't have any work that we have to tend to, we'll go out and go get some dinner or just spend some. I mean, just go out and spend some time. But uh, work life balance is not balanced whatsoever right now.
For now, at
Yeah,
least.
yeah.
Do you have plan or yeah, I guess, do you have plans to take your wife out of the cleaning side and bring her to the administration side and
Hmm.
owning and helping you run it,
Yep.
and kind of replacing her?
Yeah. So right now, basically, I'm I do everything. Right now, I before we did this interview, I was actually working on making. Right now, we're looking for a virtual assistant. So right now, what I'm doing is working on the procedures for that person that we potentially hire. And then so I can step away from the administrative stuff. My wife, I'm teaching her to just the business side of things so that she can learn how to properly operate the business, and then I'll step away from that whenever she gets that down, and excuse me, focus on the CFO side of this business. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And then we kind of touched on it a little bit. What metrics or KPIs are you tracking to measure success of the business? Obviously, we said the cash flow, but what else are you really looking at to make sure you're growing?
To make sure that we're growing. I mean, yeah. So I use QuickBooks to keep track of expenses and income. So um, and just take a look at that, and
Customers, recurring customers versus one time.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we we do our quality is really good, so we haven't had anybody quit on us. The only people that have been like, yeah, I don't want to do it anymore, are people that want to pay really low, and I just can't do it because I'm paying my cleaners 15, 17 an hour. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna have to find somebody else, because I mean they love our work, but they don't want to pay for it. So it is what it is. Which at the end of the day, I 100% would rather do that any day of the week, because if they're not paying you what you're asking for, you're going to be losing money, or you're just not, your margins are really low, so you don't really have money to play with.
Going to
And
be
if,
a headache one way or another with that customer.
right.
Because
So
you're not getting your profit, or you're just going to deal with them complaining nonstop.
right. So if you're not having that money to play with, you can't use it to reinvest into business to grow it. So you just always want to make sure that your client is paying you what you're asking for, and um, yeah, I mean, but he's keeping track of everything to make sure the business is growing. Yeah, just also looking at completion time. If if our cleaners are taking a while, a little longer than the estimated time, then typically the reason is the house is just really dirty. So we'll have to charge more for that. If it was estimated that the clean was supposed to be done in 2.5 hours and they did it in 4 hours, I'm gonna ask why. And usually the answer is the house is just really dirty. They didn't pick up anything prior to arrival, or whatever the case is, just nasty, sticky stuff everywhere. So I'll politely ask, hey, on the next time that we go, can you please take care of this? If not, that's okay. We're just gonna have to charge more. Whenever we mention we'll charge more, they'll be okay. Well, I'll take care of it.
Yeah,
But if there are other people that are like, nah, money's not an option. No, money's not a thing. Yeah, just charge whatever. Because they really like the quality. So those are the clients that you want to have, are just the people that appreciate you and your business. Mm.
And have you started implementing with your providers or employees like a brief initial walkthrough to like walk the house and see the state it's in and then give you a call before starting work and being like, hey, this isn't going to be 2.5 hours. This is going to be closer to
Mm.
4. Do you want to let them know?
Yeah. No, I haven't done that. But I have heard several people talk about that, and I've over the last few weeks, I've definitely been considering it. It's just like me personally, like I'm I'm just really busy because I also work with my mom still. So I have two businesses, so that's why I'm trying to get adamant to take care of that stuff because that's a good point. Um, since I personally don't have time to be calling customers and like, hey, your house is really dirty. Come on. I have my admin take care of that whenever we get one. But no, thank you for bringing that up. I'm definitely gonna try to implement that as whenever I can.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's a lot of little things that sometimes owners don't think of initially. That it takes less than 5 minutes for the provider to do a walkthrough of a home and kind of you've been doing it, 6 months or a year, you already have a good idea of how
Mm,
long it'll take. I mean, even if you just kind of started, if you've cleaned your own place, depending on the
mm,
size, just
yeah.
multiply that out and you'll get your time. So every little thing that doesn't cost you money that will help you get more money is everything that you should be focusing on.
Yeah.
But now, besides your business with the cleaning service, your personal life, you're still working with the other business with your mom. So you truly don't have any time in the day
Yeah.
much. So I could definitely see why getting a VA right now would be very beneficial.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, they're always beneficial. They're always going to be. You find a great VA, your business is really going to be in good hands and take off and less worry for you for sure.
Mhm.
But how are you handling competition in in the industry and in your area specific? Because with you said Dallas,
No, Houston.
Houston,
Yeah.
being in Houston, you know there's so many cleaning companies. How are you handling that competition?
Oh man. There's so much good competition at that. It's not just competition, it's good competition. Um Really just whenever somebody's looking for prices and all that, I kind of walk the people through our process and the reason why we might be a little higher. Um I think just explaining things to potential clients uh gives them uh peace of mind. But I definitely stay on the competitive side of pricing. I try to compete more with um the higher priced, higher quality businesses in my area. So, um, I mean,
It's
yeah,
tough.
and
It's a tough question to answer because there's competition everywhere. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, whether
yeah,
it's, selling water bottles or backpacks, drop shipping,
mm,
anything. There's competition everywhere and it's always going to be there.
mm,
Um, and especially if you start getting into, let's say a cleaning service. Now you have multiple cleaning services using Booking Koala
yeah,
all around the same price, all, at that point, how is a customer to choose what they should go for when it's all kind of the same? But then, that's where that personal touch from
mm,
whoever's handling phone calls and emails, whether it's the business owner, the VA, or office staff, that's all it comes down to. It's
mm,
the personal touch within your company to your customers. How
yeah,
are you handling, you know, upset customers? How are you handling happy customers? Or, everything under the sun. it's the little things that have the businesses stand out from each other. Because in the grand scheme of things, everybody's got a website. Almost every new age cleaning service has book online feature or at least a
Mhm.
quote form. You know, gone are the days of in-home estimates
Yeah.
and walkthroughs. Like it's not needed. It's not
Yeah.
needed overall in some aspects, sure, maybe more so with post construction, but even then I feel like if you fine tune your things, what are you really fighting over? A couple dollars an hour, like not huge in the grand scheme of things,
Yeah.
but massive time saver when you don't have to drive 30 minutes one way to a client's house, spend an hour walking it, and then pitching them, and then another half hour home. It's 3 hours out of your day wasted
Yeah.
when it could be all online. So it's a hard question to answer with competition for sure, but it's all the small details that matter.
Mhm. No, you're 100% right. Like, whenever somebody asks me what makes you different from other cleaning companies, like, I mean, aside from quality, um, a lot of cleaning companies offer good quality, right, and 100% guarantee. I feel like with so many cleaning instructors and booking koala, I feel like a lot of this stuff has be like a lot of it in the cleaning industry has become kind of cookie cutter. I feel like, and it's kind of hard to differentiate yourself now, especially if you're using booking koala or and following the same people that other people are following. It's really hard to differentiate yourself, I think. um so definitely the personal touch is really the only difference is um how quick are you to respond and how you deal with the situations. um so I mean, yeah, it's been interesting kind of navigating that. So that's why with residential, I don't feel like it's I don't focus on it too much because I mean, at the end of the day, like the average person is looking for the the best price as opposed to somebody that's a little more wealthy. Um they're willing to pay the higher dollar because we can guarantee more things and have insurance and have background checks and um we only offer green cleaning. We don't upsell it or anything. That's just the only thing that we offer. So that's something that
That's
we.
included in the price.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you only use green clean products.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I don't know, I feel like it would take up more space anyways if I have two different products that do the same thing. It's just one is green and one is not. So it's like I'd rather just have the green thing and just do it all green. Um
And you could get away
so
with that having employees who only handle residential houses
mhm.
because now, since they are employees, you can tell them what to wear, what
Yeah.
supplies to use. So that's a great way to look at that and how you separated the two because you can hammer down your customer satisfaction on residential
Mhm.
because if an employee does something different or off, you can tell them, hey, no, it's got to be this way.
Yeah.
But with providers, you can't. Legally, you can't. You
Yeah.
just do whatever you got to do in that sense. But legally, you can't tell them, hey, you have to use this. You could suggest it,
Mhm.
but you can't force it, you know?
Yeah.
Um, let's go into leadership style. How would you describe it and how has it contributed to your success? I know you've talked already about like kindness and just that personal touch you have. Um, anything else, or is that what you mainly focus on?
Um, I mean, leadership. The way I personally view leadership is servitude. Um, how how can I best serve you and help you to help you be successful. That's how I do it.
So just serving others.
Hmm.
I feel like that's huge. A business owner who is first serving their employees
Hmm.
is massive. Just like you said earlier, when you went on that clean, it boosts their morale. You know, they do a better job because they're with the boss and everything. But if you're serving your providers and your employees first and showing them that you truly care,
Hmm.
that also goes into, you know, how successful your business is and your company culture. It all ties in together as well.
Hmm.
What about employee training, development? What's your process on that with hiring first, like your hiring process, and then training and developing?
So, um, what I do is, we'll have a phone interview, um, make sure that this person that's calling in meets the basic requirements, um, and then once that's cool, we'll do an in-person interview, but it's it's more of a questionnaire and a cleaning interview. So we'll meet at an Airbnb or something that needs to be cleaned, and I'm like, okay, cool.
And you show up there as well.
Yeah, yeah. I'll show up there, ask questions, and if everything's cool, it's good, cool. Um, and I'll have a paid uh cleaning interview, like just to see where they're at. Because honestly, I don't really care if you have experience or not. You're gonna learn the way that we teach you. But I just want to see where they currently are, and how, especially if it's two new cleaners, um, I'll see naturally how good they are at communication. Like the some of the a couple of the employees that I have now, I kept on because uh, on their cleaning interview, we were actually doing a post construction house. No, a move out clean, and it was a huge house. So I had four, I had three employees there already, and um, two interviewees, and I was helping them a little bit with the cleaning, but I was mostly keeping an eye on them and seeing how they were doing, and I saw that these two interviewees were communicating with each other like, "Hey, I already did this area. Um, yeah, I don't know if you want to check it out, make sure it's good." Or, "Hey, can I help you out with this?" Like whenever I see stuff like that, good teamwork. Like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna hire these people, and um, yeah, we'll do that. Yeah.
Initiative and communication
Mm,
are massive,
mm-hmm,
especially with providers in the initiative. If you've got a provider who's one, not taking an initiative, or two, doesn't care to, their work is still good. They'll be an average run of the mill provider, nothing great. But if they're reliable, great. Have them on your
mm-hmm.
team.
Yep.
The ones that set you apart are, like you said, the teamwork and that initiative.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that'll have their schedules fully booked
Yep.
Monday through Sunday,
Yeah.
and they're the ones that are going to be constantly getting 4 or 5 star reviews. Um, those are the ones that you need to, if you catch on really quickly, like you do in your test clean, and you make sure that you lock them down, those are the ones that are going to take your business to the next level because it
Yep.
starts with them. And then if you start pairing them up with different people, different providers, well, then it might spread. And now
Mm-hmm.
that person might be like, okay, you know what? I really like the way so and so did this. And, it made me feel good when they asked if I needed help or that if I should check over their work, even though I think they're 10 steps ahead of me in cleaning, you know. So those types of people are the ones that you should look out for. If you're in a bind and you need to hire someone quick, I still don't know if I would take anything less than at least the person who did the run of the mill job. Because it's just headaches. It all leads to headaches. And in this business, in any business, obviously, the least headaches, the better. But
Yeah.
when you're dealing with, you know, so many moving parts where you're going into somebody's home and their valuables are there and, you know, the pets are there or, you know, just damage to the house, it all adds up and the stress builds. So
Mhm.
when it comes to hiring and hiring right, I feel like those are the two huge things. So keep doing that for
Yeah.
sure. Keep looking for them and keep hiring them because those are the ones that are going to take you to the next level.
Mhm.
You already answered this question, but how do you ensure that your business remains sustainable and environmentally friendly? And that's you're using green, clean products on everything,
Yeah.
at least residential. So, what about do you have any partnerships or collabs that you've done with other businesses to help your growth? Or are
Um,
you not in that stage yet?
no. So what I'm doing, so this is, I think my niche is, or our niche is, uh, short-term rental cleaning. Um,
So you focus heavily on Airbnb, Verbo, things like that?
yeah, that I think that's what we're best at. Um, as for everything else, like, uh, I mean, not only that, not only are we the that I do I think that we're the best, in that, you know, in our capabilities. I think we do STR the best, but I also think that, I mean, we just offer more, and that's the only kind of industry that I think that we stand out in. Um, we have a communications app that we use, Slack or Discord. Um, we we so this is my secret, and I can't share it.
That's
um,
fine.
um, but we developed something that, like, a bot in the communication app that we use, um, to help the property managers. Uh, their work is easier, and it's funny because my first clients that I got from, short term rentals, um, I charged X amount of dollars, but I'm like, I can't keep doing this. The margins are so low. It's like 15%. Like, I need to do something to, make them want to pay more, and future clients, they will be more than happy to pay this. Um, so we set up the bot in the communications app that we use, and our Instagram. We don't have many followers, um, but what I'm trying to do is kind of set up like to be like a tour guide, basically. Whenever somebody's visiting Houston and they need to stay at an Airbnb, um, we try to we leave little cards at the Airbnb, saying, if this place has been cleaned, please follow us on Instagram. Um, so what we try to do is we try to get those guests that are visitors of Houston, to go on Instagram to see, fun places to visit, or eat at, and see more Airbnbs that we clean. So if they want to come back to Houston, they don't want to stay at this unit, they can stay at another unit that they know is clean. Um, so I'm working on the Instagram to make sure that we have content for food, whatever, like people can see, like, hey, I'm visiting Houston, I want to go check this out. Like, this place, this Instagram page is showing me these cool places to visit in Houston. Um, so eventually when we get big enough, like we only have like 70 followers right now. So whenever we get to like 1,000 or 2,000, whatever, I want to try to partner up with local food places or whatever. Like, you know, say that you're coming because you follow Tidy Home, and we'll give $5 coupon or whatever. So that's what I'm trying to work on with partnerships. But growing on Instagram has been tougher than I thought.
Tough. It's
Yeah,
tough. It's not like it used to be, and also it's very saturated with the influencers and everybody who wants to
yeah,
be an influencer now. And what used to be 100,000 followers was a lot, 5 years ago. Now it's a million is the minimum.
yeah.
So if you do, and that's at least the general consensus within the influencer market. So if
Mhm.
you get anybody with a million, it's big.
Yeah,
Not saying that anything less is going to do worse,
yeah,
could do more. It's
yeah,
just things change so quickly. Within 5 years ago, Facebook Meta was completely different.
yeah.
Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, all of it. 5 years from now, it's going to look completely different. Twitter is now
Yeah.
X.com. So who knows? Maybe he'll change the name 4 more times now until then. Could be. We don't
Yeah.
know with him. But it's just, I feel like partnerships and collaborations with home service companies are so underutilized, and it just makes so much more sense to do. It could be a lawn landscaping company that partners with a local mom and pop hardware store,
Mhm.
things like that. Or, a pool cleaning that partners with swim lessons.
Mm,
You can always make things work. It's
mm.
just how creative can you get, and can you find the right people with the right mindset that want to help you grow as well as themselves.
Yeah,
Because if you find a partnership with somebody who's like, yeah, let's do it, but they're lazy and they sit on their butt all day, it's you might get something out of it, but you're not going to get your full potential.
for sure.
Whereas if you find obviously somebody who's in the same headspace and mindset as you with growth and where they want to take their business, it's not competition. It's not meant to be competition. It's literally a partnership. That's
Mm.
You're supposed to help each other grow. So big thing that I would push right now is to anybody watching, if you can lock down any kind of partnership, and it doesn't have to be something crazy, but it's just the more eyes that see your business and that remember it, it's that brand recognition. You
Yeah,
want to have a great brand. You want to make sure everything's locked down with your name, logo, colors, scheme, everything like that. And then you lock down a partnership and you just start getting your face out there and your business out there. And that repetition it starts to stick. And then whenever somebody's like, maybe I need my apartment cleaned. Oh, I know Tidy Home Cleaning. I've seen them, every time I've gone to this restaurant or whatever, or
mm,
buddy stayed at an Airbnb and it was the cleanest place they've ever stayed at. It's stuff like that that will help you tremendously in other aspects of marketing versus, just running paid ads or just collecting reviews on Yelp. It's it just builds up so much more. I don't know. It helps in so many other ways that people don't realize, and I guess it goes back to standing out from the competition. How are you going to stand out versus ABC Cleaning
mhm.
or anything like that? Well, you and ABC are the same thing, but you donate to a charity every year around Christmas. You
Mhm.
have a scholarship for college students. You have partnerships. Those are the things that will be memorable versus the next company. again, if you're just starting and you don't have huge margins or huge cash flow, you're not going to be doing a scholarship right away.
Yeah.
But it's something to think about, and it's something to start preparing, making a landing page, start publishing it and collecting applicants. It could lead to hiring people. It could lead to potentially an investor. It could be potentially to selling the business to somebody 5 years down the line. Partnerships within the industry, partnerships anywhere. I'm just going to hammer that down. Just
Yeah.
partnerships, but don't lose out on your end. Don't go into a partnership that's only going to be beneficial to the partner. It's got to be mutual, and
Mhm.
and it's got to make sense for everybody. Enough of my rant on that. Uh Networking. Are you networking, going to networking events, or I mean, with your schedule the way it's loaded, it's tough to imagine that you do, but is there a chance that you do, or how
Mm.
do you try and network with others?
Yeah, I've been to 2 or 3 networking events within the 8 months that we've been in business. Um, they just haven't been, uh
Pan out?
yeah, I mean, you think you're going for one thing, but it's a completely it's just not what you thought it was. Like, one time I went to this, networking event for realtors. It was, like, 2 realtors, and then the rest was, like, financing your home. And then one time I went to this, like, construction one, and it was just a bunch of vendors for, like, selling windows and wood floors. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what a waste of time." Um, so I'm looking for, you know, networking events like that, but I haven't had luck with, finding the right stuff, yeah.
Have you tried, maybe I'll give you a different avenue to try and attack. What about upscale, like higher end apartment complexes? Because they all have TVs in their lobbies that kind of run slideshows of
Mm,
ad spaces. I know my building does, and I know there's a cleaning service on there. Have
uh
you tried approaching
Apartment
doing that?
complexes? Yeah, I've reached out to 2 of them, and they said, "Yeah, just email it here," and I'm glad that you reminded me because I totally forgot that I need to, email those guys. But yeah, that's definitely something that I am interested in. I just need to email them. You're right.
All it takes is that consistency. Get it done, and then set a reminder in your phone to
Mhm.
check back in next week and every week following until
Mhm.
they say, "Leave me the
Yes,
hell
we
alone," or yes, either
Yeah,
yes or leave me the hell alone.
yeah.
So it's one of two ways there for sure.
Mm.
How do you handle your setbacks and failures in the business?
I just learn from them, and I try not to do it again. Um, yeah, anything that happens that I'm like, "Yeah, I could have been avoided," I definitely take note of it, and, just I take note of it, and I make sure that doesn't happen again, or do something to at least mitigate it, you know? Um, but yeah, there's not much else to do.
Yeah, I feel like a good strategy, like physically taking the note, either pen to paper or typing it out, and kind of just almost like a script writer for a movie or a show, kind of go through the whole instance of what happened in the scenario, the full scenario, and
Mm,
then you could kind of track where it started to go wrong, where it did go wrong, how it ended, and how you could have done everything differently.
yep.
If you're just sitting and rethinking it, I mean, at least you're trying to keep it fresh in your mind, but having a physical place where you can write it down, come back to it in case it does happen again, because it could.
Mhm.
Um, and just going over how you could do things differently will help to remember not to do it again.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
mean, you just gotta remember to be introspective. Like, I'm a very, very introspective person, so I'm constantly thinking about, um, just things and, like, "Okay, what did I do wrong here? How can I improve it or at least mitigate the issue?" Um, yeah, writing it down, and just kinda writing a game plan of how to completely uh stop it or mitigate it. I'm big on game plans and just building and moving forward. Yep.
for sure. Are you a risk taker?
Unfortunately, sometimes too much.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
How
I
do
mean,
you
I think if you aren't a risk taker at all, I don't think you'd ever start a business, right?
true.
Yeah.
So I'd say everybody is, maybe there's a small percentage of people that zero risk. Sure.
Mm,
Okay, fine. But I feel like everybody has some amount of risk. It's
mm,
just what level are you on? Whether
pretty
it's,
high.
physical, like adrenaline seeking risk,
Mm,
skydiving, extreme sports, motorcycle, stuff like that, or is it, kind of financially, like taking a risk and seeing, I'm gonna start this business. I work part time, go to school full time, whatever situation the person's in,
mm,
you got to have some risk, like you said, to be a business owner.
yeah.
So, how do you manage it and uncertainty in the industry? What strategies do you use? Do you try and go less risky with the business? Because you said you're too risky sometimes, or do you just kind of go with the flow and then manage
Um,
it after the fact?
so you're saying when it comes financially to the business?
No, just risk and uncertainty
Oh,
within the business as a whole. How do you manage that?
okay. So on the business, I try to be uh, as I try to be kind of mid on risk level, because I mean personally, I'm like financially, I'm very very big on risk. There's this friend that I had that would say, "Scared money don't make money."
Think we've all heard the saying, yes.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
That's funny. Um, I guess my friend got it from somewhere. um, so yeah, I personally, yeah, I would play with money that I can afford to lose. But when it comes to business, I want to have as much money as possible so that I can give out bonuses, year end bonuses, reinvest in whatever I need to reinvest into. Um, so yeah, I try to be more mid on that. Um, you know, something that's a little risky sometimes is when you're giving a quote out to like a janitorial or post construction kind of job. I want to have as the highest margin as possible. So I'll go a little higher. Like whenever I give out a quote to that for that, I'll go a little higher than what I actually want to make. But in the email, I also say, hey, if this doesn't work out for your budget, please let me know and I'll see what I can do. So I'm kind of playing both ways there. I'm trying to get the highest amount of money that I can, but I don't want to risk losing the job entirely. So I do leave, the little postscript, with hey, I'm not. If you can't afford it, let me know. That helps. Um, I
Have you
mean, yeah,
run
it
into
helps.
have you run into any scenario where that was kind of taken advantage of?
Um, Not quite, but I expect it to be. Not, I do expect it to be because I do. Um, I tell them something that is higher than what I actually want. So if somebody does take advantage of it, it's okay because it's just going back to what I actually want.
So you
Um,
overprice
yeah.
slightly and
Mhm,
then
mhm.
have text copy in the email that says, all right, if it's too much, let me know. And then when you counter, you're countering with your
Was my
price that
normal
you
price.
want, that
Yeah,
your normal price that you
yeah.
want. And it works.
So far it has, yes. Yeah, so far.
Would you recommend it to other business owners?
I mean, yeah, why not? The worst they could say is, no. I mean, well, no, the worst that can happen is you don't get the job, right? So
Yeah.
that's where I say, I'm a mid-level risk taker. Like, if I don't get the job, um, well, here's the thing: the amount of money that I do want is is actually the the perfect amount. It's not, I'm the amount that I actually want to charge um is not too much in my opinion. And if it is too much for them, then maybe I don't actually want to take that job because I'm not getting the margins that I need to have. I try to stay around the margins of um, 25 to 40% or 50%. Um, but if that is too much, then like if I don't want to go under 25%, that's because at the end of the day, that's going to be pretty much breaking even, and I don't care to break even unless it's a slow week, so that I can give work to my employees or to my workers. Um, but
It's
so yeah,
hard in a sense where you focus doing so well with the majority being uh, Airbnb and Verbo and things like that.
mm,
If that's why recurring revenue, if you focus on that residential side and gaining customers, if you break even on a recurring customer, the first clean, your second clean, whether it's biweekly, monthly, however,
mm,
the next clean you're already in the green.
mm,
So as much recurring as you can on that residential side will leave you less headache because you know you'll have the jobs. And then you could also focus on partnerships and growing that Airbnb side.
mm. I would say the STR side is even better than residential when it comes to recurring. Um, because we can have one unit be done two times in 1 week. It's very like my residential clients, most of them are 2 weeks. I mean, two times a month, or once every 2 weeks. Um, so I actually prefer on the recurring side to have the STR clients just because some units I can get maybe even six times in a month, and especially if my that client has multiple units. Um, yeah, I think it's better for recurring to do STR. But the thing about STR is, um, you're gonna have to. It's gonna be less margin, but it's more quantity. Um, so it's a little tough to kind of balance because on the residential side, I try to look for 40 to 50%. STR, I try to look for 30 to 40%. But again, the quantity is really high. Yeah.
I feel like you got to have a higher risk to focus, or at least a higher risk tolerance to focus with at least STR, just because, and I'm only saying it because you don't know, every host is different.
Mhm,
So, depending on how active they are and how competitive their price is to get somebody to stay in their place,
mhm,
if they're ridiculously priced and they're getting a booking every 2, 3 weeks, then
mhm,
kind of screws yourself. So, I guess being proactive finding great hosts and locking them down when they're super busy
mm,
is great. But it's just you don't know with
yeah,
residential recurring, it's consistent. You
mm,
know every Tuesday every week or every Tuesday every other week,
mm,
you're getting that cleaning.
yeah,
Whereas with short-term rentals, somebody could stay, 3 days and you get a cleaning on Wednesday, and then the next person staying there might be staying 2 weeks. So you're
right,
not cleaning that unit for 2 weeks after that. Again, it's give and take. You have to know what you prefer and your level of risk.
mm,
Having both, I think, is the best spot you could be in, knowing exactly how much you have on that residential side and then working on short-term rentals and building up that portfolio
yeah,
of just super hosts. Huge.
yeah. You know, yeah, especially like, and having office cleaning is also very good when it comes to uh recurring services. Um, man, so with residential, actually, I like doing it all because post construction and commercial office cleaning, net 30, right? I don't really try to fight the terms, like, hey, let's do net 15 or whatever, because I don't care. As I mean, as long as they pay, in those after those 30 days, and don't try to pay 60 days or whatever. It doesn't bother me because the cash flow is good. Um, and I planned this pretty well, I think. What I wanted to do was I wanted to start residential and short-term rentals. I mean, residential and short-term rentals first, so that I can have consistent cash flow coming in, every week. And make sure that my cleaners get paid. Even my um, even my office cleaners, they'll get paid with the residential money as well. Everybody's getting paid, and then check, once the payment for the office cleaning comes in, then boom, it's that extra money. So I didn't want to get any offices until I had money coming in on the weekly with the residential side and the short term rental side, um, so that I can keep it smooth on the office cleaning. So um, yeah, but I in my opinion, I think that office is probably the best when it comes to having that recurring money coming in.
And less work for your provider.
Managing? Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, because realistically, how dirty can an office get? They can't really. You're not touching paperwork because you don't want to mess anything up and accidentally lose an important document. So it's picking up whether it's a real estate office with 50 cubicles. All right, so you got 58-gallon garbage cans that you got to empty into one giant one,
Mm,
and then vacuuming, maybe a little bit of mopping, dusting, and then the kitchen area where they're eating, if they even have that.
yeah.
And if you're going there nightly, well, how dirty can it really get unless you're in an area where it's got all four seasons and then it's wintertime and then snow, then you got to deal with, mopping up that stuff and cleaning up
Mm,
salt, whatever the fact. But office cleaning, is big for consistency and keeping that recurring revenue, as well as mitigating any provider headaches that you have. You stick a pretty good cleaner on it and just make sure they do their work.
yeah.
There are not going to be any phone calls or complaints really of anything.
Yep.
Pricing. How did you approach pricing when you first started to stay competitive?
um, I got the I guess I got the kind of foundation from watching so many videos. And then after actually starting, the business, just kind of keeping tabs on how much time it took to clean this. And I would constantly ask my wife, like, "Hey, how long did it take you to clean this restroom? How long did it take you to clean this restroom?" Next day, restroom. Like, okay, it looks like an average of 15 minutes. So, bucking koala, one restroom, 15 minutes, X amount of dollars. Um, so yeah, I mean, just keeping tabs on everything for like a month or whatever.
Do
I
you check
finally have.
competitors?
I'm sorry.
Do you
Oh
check
yeah,
competitors'
yeah.
pricing?
I looked at their pricing. The people that I actually want to compete with, I'll look at their prices. Uh, yeah, I look at their prices, make sure being competitive with the people that I want to compete with. Um, and yeah, just yeah, make sure the. So I mean, I got the timing down, and then after I got the timing down, it's like, okay, how much do I want to make? How much should I charge? You know, per restroom, or the base service fee or whatever. Kind of put that all together.
And how is your booking form set up? Are you doing hourly? Are you doing square footage? Are you doing variables, bedroom,
Variables.
bathroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, bedroom, bathroom, and extras.
Okay.
And I included something like if your place is very, if it's regular or if it's like super dirty, um, you know, we'll pick the super dirty and it'll be more expensive. But I don't do square footage unless it's deep cleaning, and post construction.
How do you what did you ballpark the price off of for post construction at least? You don't have to say what you charge per
Uh,
square foot, but how did you come about those numbers? Was it math that you
um,
did on your own, or did you base it off competitors?
so yeah, I learned from the janitorial store. Um, kind of getting my bearings that way. Um, they provide great content as well. They're great teachers. Um, and and then, but their content is pretty old, and with inflation, and so I changed the pricing completely. But other than that, like the what's that called? Your production rate, um, about the same as 3,000 square feet an hour or whatever. Um, I just add whatever I wanted to make per hour or charge per hour, and that was it. Um, at first, but to get started though, since I had zero experience actually doing the work, I would charge very very low, and I would go to work, and just kind of see how long it took to do this stuff. Got I got my production rate, and uh, you know, um, 3,500 square feet an hour, and I charge, you know, d- I try to charge anywhere from $40 to $50 an hour. So, for post construction,
So then
and
you're charging by the hour then, not by the square foot.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But also it's kind of a mix because I mean, by the square foot, well, I
So
guess
you take
I take the square footage,
into
mm,
consideration.
yeah, and I kind of divide it by my production rate, and then I whatever it is per hour, however many hours it seems it's going to take, I'll multiply it by my rate. So it's kind of a mix of both, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, for sure. What about customer loyalty and generating that repeat business? What steps do you take to get there?
um, Making sure that we do a good job and consistently. Like I said earlier, I'll send out a automated message about once a month saying, "Hey, uh, whatever your name is, um, has everything been good? Is there anything that's the team has been lacking on, or like are we staying consistent?" Most of the time, it's yes. Actually, all yeah, most of the time it's yes. Every now and then they're like, "Oh yeah, they haven't been doing this." I'm like, "Okay, thank you so much for your feedback. I'll let the cleaners know, and we'll Thank you so much. Also, I try to, like, once every 6 months or so, I'll try to send them a little gift, like a cleaning gift. I mean, well, something for your home, like a nice squeegee for the people that have window shower doors, a nice toilet cleaner, stuff like that. Just stuff that's gonna make it easier on them to clean their home, and also easier for us to use it while we're in their home, like to clean the toilets. So it's kind of it's a
That's
gift
smart.
for them, but it's also for us too.
Absolutely. What do you use to stay motivated and maintain your drive? I know you don't watch YouTube, you're already highly motivated, but what gets you there? What keeps you there?
um, I want to have a lot of money to help people. That's my motivation. Um, my family, we have uh, uh, I cannot think of the name right now. A nonprofit. I have a nonprofit, so um, what I'm trying to do is um, so what I'm trying to do is, since I've noticed that we do really really well um in STR cleaning and turnover services, I want to expand that and sell that part of the business. I initially started wanting to sell the entire business, but I have come to really like having a cleaning business. So I realized that I can actually just keep doing what I'm doing with the STR side of things, and just grow the clientele, and eventually sell that part of the business, the STR side of the business, and sell that and make the money and give 95% of it to the nonprofit.
Awesome.
So that's what keeps me motivated.
What's the nonprofit called?
It's called Leading with the Holy Spirit. What we're trying to do is um, we have a property in San Antonio where we're trying to develop it to grow food, um, and so we want to give people organic food. Um, we want to eventually help people that want to start a business. We want to help them start up a business for free. Kind of have workshops for business development. Um, Provide homes for uh, runaway kids, women, women and husbands that have been abused by their spouse. This kind of provide a safe place to stay. So I wanna grow the STR side of the business because I feel like that's gonna make the most money. Sell it, give the money to that, and just kind of speed up the process in which we can build homes and food and whatever for these people. Yep. So
That's
that's what keeps me motivated.
that's amazing. That's keep up the great work because that's really something for sure.
Mhm.
What have been some of the most important lessons you've learned in being a business owner?
Important lessons. Patience. Patience. Just dealing with clients, employees, uh,
Headaches.
headaches. Just having patience and like, because since we're a little baby business, I want to be like, "Oh, I want to have a thousand houses already. I want this, I want that, but it takes time. Um, so yeah, just being patient. Uh, Being a business owner is taught me patience for sure. Yep.
More than some people even realize. They know
Mm.
that it's going to be high before getting started, and then I feel like when they get started, there are times where it's like an oh crap moment. This is more than I thought, but having the patience, keeping the drive alive, and staying motivated plays into all three things and just gets you to your end goal a lot faster.
Mhm. Yeah.
How do you adapt to evolving customer needs and preferences within the industry?
How do I adapt? Um,
I mean, it's been 8 months,
mm,
still really early. I don't know if I've seen any really massive changes in the industry in the last year,
mm.
besides, I guess, more businesses coming out. But yeah, if you do experience something massive and a change,
Mm.
how do you think you'll adapt to it then?
I mean, if I see any crazy things, I'm just gonna have to kind of join in, right? Like, I know that they're starting to have like cleaning bots and stuff like that. Pretty sure eventually, if it gets bigger, I'll maybe buy one or two or something and kind of include that in the um, in our services. Um, I mean, yeah, if it's something that I like or something that I think that I will be able to include in my business, I'll do research into it and see if it's something that I can implement in my own business.
I just thought of something, and you'll be the first to hear it, and you can even take it if you want. But talking about automatic robots, I've seen lawn care ones that cut your grass.
Mm,
So maybe implementing something where some of your employees, if you buy it and they have it with them and they go to a clean, you could charge extra for
mm.
them to
To
cut the
cut grass.
grass, but the robot's doing it while they're cleaning the house.
It's
They
pretty
would
cool.
just have to come out and check on it. Just an idea, but you get it first, so you get
Thanks.
first stab at stealing that.
So it's like a Roomba for your lawn then?
Yeah, I've
That's
seen a
cool.
couple different companies now publish or put those to market, so it's if I had a house, I mean, that's what I'd be doing. I like to have a nice grass, but I don't know if I'm the guy to be spending 3, 4
Yeah.
hours taking care of that. Even if I had like a 5-foot square patch, I'd be the guy to get the riding lawnmower. Get it over with in one shot. How do you balance your short-term goals with long-term vision?
I mean, basically, my short-term goals lead to my long-term goals. So, I mean, I've since I've been in business for a while, that's how and that's since I've my my other business is also in business development and everything. I kind of try to help my clients and not myself now. Just kind of make sure that my short-term goals lead into my long-term goals.
Having the balance and knowing what you want short term has to
Mhm.
match up with medium, has to match up with long. If your long term goal is 10 million in revenue, but your short term goal is,
$500 a day.
yeah, it's having the realistic expectation
Mhm.
is one, and two, having it in line, not being like, well, I'm going to sell car air fresheners on the side to get me more revenue. That's not, no, that
Mhm.
it doesn't. Having the balance and making sure it's in line is huge, and it seems like you have that experience with the massage therapist business and then the accounting business with your mom
Mhm.
and now this. Having the balance is going to be key to getting to that finish line.
Yeah.
Short term goals, if you don't set them too crazy high and having them, you'll knock those out of the park
Yeah.
if they're reasonable. Reasonable, not unreasonable.
Yeah.
Unreasonable short term goals leads to a business closing faster than the owner probably thinks. So
Yeah.
having those realistic goals is big. What about social media? I know we already talked about that a little bit. Um, but does your business have every social account? Does it have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? No.
Just Instagram. Um, I don't wanna manage all of that. But also, I don't know, I don't know, I just feel like
Besides not wanting to manage them all, what's the
Mm.
reason for at least not having a Facebook page?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't. It's funny because I think that the people, like the market that would be interested in having getting my service would be on Facebook, but I don't know. Like I just don't know what I would do on Facebook. I mean, I could always listen to some videos to help me out with that, but it's like I don't know.
Well, at baseline, create the business profile, put all your obviously information, days you're open, office hours,
Mhm,
but mainly because now, at least for the recent, past, review collecting. It's another place to collect reviews.
mhm,
So having a profile where you can collect reviews at each place, Yelp, Google, Facebook, everywhere you can, I would suggest opening a profile because it's more eyes on your business. Whenever somebody Googles your name and only, let's say, three things come up, cite your Instagram account and maybe one other thing, like an
mhm.
article was published on you, doesn't look as great as if like the whole page is filled on Google.
Yeah,
So to a customer, it's
makes
like,
sense.
okay, this business is more established. They have, and it's just you don't know when randomly a customer will come in from somewhere. So it could be somebody who just recently moved to Houston and they're browsing Yelp for food places and they decided to click on somebody's profile that reviewed X restaurant and they reviewed your
Mm,
cleaning service and they're like,
mhm.
hey, I'll probably need a cleaning service when, in the next week when I unpack everything, maybe I'll give that a go. So at least it's those little things here and there where, sure, you may not be upkeeping it daily. You don't
Mhm,
need to. At least once a week to stay somewhat active. And you could even reshare other people's stuff. It doesn't have to be necessarily original,
mhm.
but having the page and at least showing that you're active weekly, once a week, will help you, I would say, more than it would hurt, because I really don't think it would hurt.
Yeah. Okay. No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Let's go more towards, I guess, where do you see the business in the next 5 to 10 years?
5 to 10 years. Man. So my goal is to I don't wanna branch out of Houston, and the reason is I want to make sure quality is impeccable. Like if I feel like if I have like a manager or something in another city, I mean they're just not gonna care about it as much as I do. I mean at least I feel that way. So um I don't want to branch out of Houston, but I do want a big piece of the pie of Houston when it comes to office cleaning and short-term rentals. And actually, short-term rentals, I want to. That's the only part I want to branch out and have contractors, around the U.S. But um, because that way, because I mean, for short-term rentals, we take pictures and stuff. Um, so and I don't feel like looking at or having my admin or whatever looking at pictures of absolutely everything all the time, so I don't want to have pictures of the offices and houses and all that. Um, so yeah, in Houston, 5, 10 years from now, I want to have a big, big, big piece of the pie in when it comes to cleaning in Houston.
Hopefully, number one, 5, 10 years is a long way.
Yeah,
You put your head down and focus, I know you can do it. What about,
appreciate
now we're going to go
that.
more towards the software side. What role does tech play in your business operations?
Pretty big. It helps us to stay in communication and just technology definitely helps operations flow a lot more smoother. Yeah.
At this point, I would say it's almost everything.
Yeah, no, you're
Like
right.
percentage wise, you're if it's not like in the 80s, 90s, you're get it up there because automations, text messages, email messages, knocking stuff out like that that's automated instead of manually doing it
Mhm.
frees up time for you to do things elsewhere.
Yeah.
And you said you started January 1st of this year.
Yes, sir.
Have you been, I believe, yes, because when we were speaking about Cristobal with Upflip and that, you said you were debating between Launch 27 and us. So you've been using us the whole time, or did you
Mhm.
try anybody else out?
Yeah. So when I had my massage business for scheduling, I was using Schedulicity and Acuity. Um, so I tried a demo of them first, like before I got the website published and everything. I wanted to check them out before I published my website. So even before I saw the upflip videos, I was considering Schedulicity and Acuity. I just did not like. I just didn't like the UI, the user interface. Um, I feel like it wasn't um, as intuitive, um, and I felt like there wasn't like at least when it comes to cleaning, house cleaning. I feel like the options were not as good. And then L27, when I checked them out before I checked out Booking Koala. I just didn't like the price. Well, I was actually gonna use them, but then I found out about Booking Koala, and so I was trying to figure out the differences. I was like, "Wait, there's not much difference here. I'm gonna go with the cheaper one." But I'm glad I did because I mean, Booking Koala just offers so much, and it's at a great price. So I stuck to it, and I can't see myself leaving it in the foreseeable future. Anyway.
We hope you don't. We want you forever, that's for sure. To a new user, going over, whether you're on a software review site like Capterra or G2 and you're comparing all these softwares. Somebody just starting out, it's all kind of going to look the same. It's
Mhm,
all going to be like, all right, all have similar features, but it's at the core. How is it run? How often are updates happening? How much do they care about the customers? As in the business, like our business owners, like you guys, it's is it just a cash grab, so it's the little things that with demos and
mhm,
asking specific questions to support will get you a more clear answer. But when you're first starting out, when you're looking at 20 different softwares and trying to narrow stuff down, obviously price is going to be huge factor, especially when
mhm,
you're starting off and you don't have a lot of capital saved up.
mhm. Oh yeah,
So
that's a big one.
softwares that are overly priced with nothing really to show for it are shooting themselves in the foot because what's your reasoning behind it? You're the people who were with you before you, I'm sure you grandfathered them into the pricing plans that were there before you raised them,
Mhm.
but now how easy is it to get people on those new prices?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it's not, especially I mean, especially when you consider the fact that um the I think L27 is the same price as your no, a little more than your most expensive package, which your most expensive package is still it's great. I mean, but I don't use it yet because I don't have more than 15 cleaners or providers. But once I do get to that point, I'm definitely going to upgrade to the most expensive package you have, which is under $200 a month. Which I mean, to me, that's amazing. Um, because you're going to be able to hold so much information, and I think the max for the most expensive package is 50 providers.
Well, that's just what we display, and then if you get more, if you have more, then there's custom plans, and then
Mm,
also with the hiring module and the other modules that we have in there, like the email campaigns,
mm,
kind of like Mailchimp, um, depending on contacts and stuff like that, then price varies. But
yeah.
we tried to make it as feature packed in each tier that
Mhm,
made sense,
mhm.
where it's a great price for the business owner and it makes sense for us.
It honestly, because I think like Acuity and Schedulicity, I think they're like 20 or 30 a month for their mid tier package. But it's just it doesn't look very nice, and there's not too much going on. Um, and something that I really do like about Booking Koala is how easily accessible the help center is. And if you feel like you can't find it on the help center, um, the support team is very responsive. So that's why I actually do recommend Booking Koala to anybody that I meet that does have that might need a scheduling platform. I always recommend Booking Koala.
Excellent. And we appreciate that
Yeah,
because it's, any referrals is massive for us, just like it is in your business. So
yeah.
I guess you kind of answered my next question: what drew you into using it and why, with price and features and UI UX stuff like that.
Mm.
What about, what's one of the features that we have that you couldn't live without?
Let's see what um
And no cop out answers like the booking form or the whole software.
no,
As
I was gonna say that. I know that. I watch all your videos. um Honestly, I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, something that I really like is how uh, how easy it is to view customer information and the way it's. I like the way it's laid out. I like that a lot. Um, but something that I couldn't live without. I mean, obviously integrations, but integrations is a lot of companies offer uh, integrations. Um, Honestly, that's a tough one. I mean, there's just a lot of things that I like about Booking Koala. It's hard to choose one specific thing that I couldn't live without.
That's good. That's an answer. I mean,
But that's the cop out.
I really don't think there's a better answer than that if you can't come up with one specific thing. What about the flip side of that? What's one feature that you wish we had that we don't currently have?
I don't know if this counts as a feature, but this is a lot easier to think about. This I mean, just because Booking Call has so many good things. It's not too much that you can really complain about. Um, but yeah, so I don't know if this is a feature thing, but uh, the thing that frustrates me is whenever it's the information is going from Booking Call to QuickBooks, it doesn't split the service and the sales tax. So I have to manually go in and um, divide it, and that's a headache. I did ask support about that. I think about 2 months ago. They say this is something they're working on, so I don't know. Hopefully, that's something that um, is fixed or whatever in the near future. But yeah, that's my only complaint really is the sales tax not being divided when it goes to the QuickBooks side.
Well, if you already emailed them, then they have it marked down and it'll be added within, I can't give a specific time
Yeah,
frame because if I ever do, I get an email or a message right away saying, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this?"
yeah,
'Cause things
I
always change,
yeah,
always change. Got to be flexible, but it's coming. If we know about it already, I'm sure it's marked down somewhere, and that doesn't seem like something that's huge
yeah.
coding wise. Just something with the integrations part. So final question here.
Advice to yourself 8.5 months ago before you started, or to somebody watching right now who's where you were at 8.5 months ago?
Uh-huh. Um, as the great Shia LaBeouf said, just do it.
Okay.
No, no, no. I mean, definitely, just do it. But I a lot of people that I learned from when I was first getting started was they would say pick something and stick to it. Um, I feel like for me, I disagree with that because I wouldn't have found the things that I really liked if I hadn't tried it all. Um, but honestly, I do. I like it all. I like all um, spaces that we service. I have some that I don't favor, but I still like it. Especially like if I'm the fact that I'm able to do all types of cleaning. Um, Cash flow is really good because residential really keeps it flowing. I'm able to pay everybody with that money coming in, and then when the money comes in once a month from other uh, you know office clients or whatever. Um, I mean, there's just not issues with cash flow. So I would say try everything, and if you like everything, do it. If you don't like something, take it out, take it out of your business. Um, just do whatever you like and try it. I mean, try it all and then do whatever you like. Yeah.
Not necessarily the service industry, but business in general, right?
Yeah.
Try try it all, see what you like, and then if you stick to one, whether it's home services, home cleaning, or whatever, don't get rid of it if you don't like it.
Mhm.
Learn it enough and then outsource it
Yeah.
because it'll be
Yes.
needed still.
Mhm.
But just because you don't like it doesn't mean, or doesn't mean you have to get rid of it because
Mhm.
there are things a lot of people don't like.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like working numbers and accounting stuff. You still have to do it. Got to pay Uncle Sam every year. That you can't get rid of.
Yeah.
So outsource, get an accountant, or have
Yeah.
your office manager do it.
Yeah.
So definitely a big thing for that for sure. But I like that. Try everything just so you don't miss out on something potentially that you would like more than what you settled on.
Mhm. No, yeah, and actually, I have, one more thing, because you touched on it, and I 100% agree with short-term rentals in the beginning. I absolutely hated it. I hated it so much. I was gonna stop, but then I realized the industry is new. Um, there's no standards really. Um, things are People are just trying to figure it out, honestly. Um, So as much as I hated it, I was like, you know what? There's a lot of money to be made here. Um, if there's an issue, don't complain about it. Fix it.
Absolutely.
And I fixed the things that I hated, and now I really like STR cleaning, and um I think I that we kind of perfected the process and also made it easier for everybody, uh, for us and for the hosts. Um, so that's yeah, that you don't like something, fix it, and you're probably gonna end up liking it.
And if you don't, then you
Yeah,
outsource it.
drop it.
You don't
Yeah.
got to deal with it anyway.
Yeah.
Well, Javier, thank you so much for your time today. It was a pleasure. Um, yeah, hopefully in the next year or two, we'll get you back down for an interview, and you'll be the king of short term rentals